Lights Along the Passageway is a colorful and historical documentary which takes viewers on a panoramic journey along the shorelines of Lake Michigan, Superior, and Huron in search of restored and renovated old lighthouses. Years ago, these old lighthouses stood tall, overlooking what used to be nautical passageways for transporting settlers, miners, merchants, supplies, lumber, and materials to and from Michigan's Upper Peninsula wilderness. From 1825 until the middle 1900s, each lighthouse was assigned a lighthouse keeper, government appointees of the 5th Auditor of the Treasury, whose sole mission was to keep lighthouse lights burning and visible, never allowing the lights to run out of wick or oil. They lived in quarters attached to massive lighthouse towers or within immediate proximity. They lived simple lives, catching a few fish for dinner and enjoying their limited space that was provided. Sometimes they would go days, weeks, or months without seeing another person. For the most part, it was a life of solitude, as most of the lighthouses built on the Great Lakes were located in very desolate areas.
There's a great deal of history associated with the lighthouses of Michigan. Indeed, there are still over 100 of these magnificent structures lining the shores of Lake Superior, Michigan, and Huron. We'll be visiting several of these lighthouses, and as you'll see, they each have their own story to tell. Some people even say that some of the lighthouses are haunted. Well, I'm not sure about that. But what I am sure of is here at the Copper Harbor Lighthouse. It all began with the great copper rush of the mid-1800s.
It has been said that the Great Copper Rush of the early 1840s generated more revenue than the Great Gold Rush of 1849. It was after Michigan became a state in 1837 that copper was first discovered in the furthest northern part of this new territory. In 1841, Douglas Houghton, Michigan's state geologist, recorded finding vast deposits of copper in the Keweenaw Peninsula. That same year, a 3,700-pound mass of copper called the Ontonagon Boulder was shipped to Detroit from the Ontonagon River. The copper rush was on. Large sections of float copper were discovered in other remote areas, and several nuggets weighed in at more than 4 tons. Mines and boom towns sprang up everywhere, and old corduroy paths that winded through the wilderness were quickly being replaced by dirt roads so copper ore could be transported to the lake and shipped to smelters in Chicago and Baltimore. The St. Mary's River connected Lake Superior to Lake Huron. The location where Lake Superior dumps into the St. Mary's River is 21 feet higher than where the river flows out onto Lake Huron to the south. By 1855, the state of Michigan had completed building the Soo Locks that bypassed the rapids. This made it possible for ships to travel from Lake Superior directly into the river and continue southward toward Lake Huron or make the reverse passage. As nautical traffic increased, the need for additional lighthouses also increased. By 1880, a total of 89 lighthouses had been built on the Great Lakes. We will be visiting 30 of these lights that are located on the shorelines of Michigan, and you'll see them here on Lights Along the Passageways.